I'm Jodie Mandarino, the Youth Services Librarian at the Halton Hills Public Library. I'm going to share a couple of books with you today that are available on Hoopla Digital. What's great about Hoopla is that everything on there is available on demand, so there's no waiting and there's no holds lists. If you're having trouble accessing our digital content, you can go to the library's website for more information, or you can send us an email at askus@haltonhills.ca. So the two books I'm going to share with you today are both historical fiction, and these two take place pretty far back in the past. The first one that I'll talk about is called The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. And this book takes place in the 1700s and is the story of Henry Montague, who was embarking on his grand tour of Europe. One last teenage year of wildness before he is supposed to take over as his father's heir and get down to the business of being a boring adult. If a year of traveling around Europe sounds awesome to you, think again. For one thing, Monty has just gotten kicked out of university, and his father has warned him that he will return from this trip ready to be a proper young gentleman, or else he will be disinherited and left penniless. To make matters worse, Monty's younger sister Felicity is also tagging along. Then there's Monty's best friend Percy. Monty and Percy have grown up together and have always been close. The grand tour is meant to be their final year together before Monty goes home to run the family estate and Percy goes off to law school in Holland. The biggest issue, however, is that Monty has recently fallen hopelessly in love with his best friend. He is afraid to say anything in case Percy doesn't feel the same way. So we follow Monty, Percy, and Felicity on their grand tour, which quickly goes off the rails in every possible way. There are scandals, highway robbers, mad scientists, pirates, evil nobles, and daring escapes. And of course, there is a twisting, turning love story as Monty struggles to let Percy know how he really feels. This book does have a love story in it, but it is also a great adventure with an intriguing mystery thrown in the mix. You'll be rooting for Monty, Percy, and Felicity as they go from one impossible situation to the next in this historical road trip of a book. So the next book that I will share with you is a historical fiction with a bit of magic and humor thrown in. It's called My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton, and Jodie Meadows. The Jane in this story is Lady Jane Grey from the Tudor era in Britain. The Tudors all started with Henry VIII, if you remember him. So Edward, Henry's only son, is now King of England, 16 years old, but also dying, and so he needs to figure out his successor. Jane is Edward's cousin, and Edward decides to arrange her marriage to Gifford, who is a horse. Well, not quite a horse. He is an Ethudin, which means that by day he is a horse, but every night at dusk he turns back into a man. This is a very silly, lighthearted historical fiction. It's full of jokes, puns, and laughter. It's different than your classic historical story, but it might just be what you're looking for during this time. If you go into this expecting a fun, entertaining story with witty but quirky characters, you won't be disappointed. So that's it for today. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in reading these books, or if there are other historical fiction books that you think that I should know. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.